Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the P.S.D podcast. We're back, and sorry I've been gone for a little minute. I've been gone for 2 weeks. PTSD. I said we always do that. PTSD podcast. You already know. I've been gone for a minute, but we got an interesting topic today, and the topic was do men lack emotional intelligence when it comes to dealing with women in relationships? And this was a topic a guest of ours brought up named Asha. She's going to elaborate. I said it right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay. So she's going to elaborate on the questions that she has. So that'll be the topic for today.
Yeah, so basically the topic I was bringing about is about emotional intelligence and how men navigate in spaces with women. I personally, in my opinion, feel that men do lack emotional intelligence when it comes to dating me. Tapping into that feminine side, being vulnerable and curious, and knowing and allowing themselves to be free when it comes to being a woman, when it comes to their woman, it's quite scarce. And I feel as if that often I feel that side is being shown when they're around their family or when they're around their friends. But when they're by themselves with their woman, they don't know when to turn it off or on. And my question is to everybody is, what is that? I mean, I have a lot of men in this room right now. What is that lack of emotional intelligence where you can't tap into and say, hey, baby, this is where you hurt my feelings when you said this, or I appreciate if you do this more. And I think it's possible, but I don't know where that downside is where you can't actually, tap into that.
Right, so
that was nice.
Yeah.
Good job, Asha.
Oh my God, thank you.
Well, my answer to that is you got emotional intelligence and you got communication. There's nothing wrong with communicating. I don't believe that men should have emotional intelligence because that's not a man-oriented field. Women are the emotional creatures. Men, do you have men that have emotions? Yes, but we're supposed to be, since we're the leader or the head, we're supposed to use our logic and have the capabilities to lead. So you could communicate about what's happening and what's not happening. That's why communication is key. So you let her know, I need you to do this, or can we do that? So that, to me, that's not emotional intelligence. That's just an adult communicating with another adult. And if the person who receives it is also an adult, they respond in turn. You know what I'm saying? So two adults having a conversation, and then y'all make decisions and compromises based off what y'all communicated about. So to me, there's nothing emotional about that. But if they want to call it emotional intelligence, I would just call that communication. I leave the emotional side to the women. And once again, men can have emotions without being emotional. Meaning everybody have emotions because we're human. But when a lot of times women wear emotions on their sleeve, and it's not a bad thing. They'll remember that comes with being nurturers and softer creatures. So by them being the nurturers of children and stuff like that, and they're being the softer vessel, it makes sense why they're softer at heart. Whether with their emotions and how they feel, that's not a bad thing. That's a characteristic of a woman. So for a guy to have the boy version of that, to me, that doesn't make sense. But a man that stands on his own and he makes stuff clear, he makes things clear and concise. He could communicate and be assertive and verbiate what he needs to be done. Right. And if she understands and she's not fighting him back, she can either take heed to it or hear him out, and they can come to a middle ground. So, and like I said, that goes for her too. Like, she could communicate with him what she feels something is lacking, or even if it's just to praise somebody, because you could just praise somebody by communication too. Mm-hmm. Communication don't always mean it's always a problem we got to address. You could just communicate when it's positive or negative. But to me, that's just communication and two adults talking. Mm-hmm. But I think the emotional side should be left to the women, and the men is supposed to be the leader. But if things need to be solved or talked about, that's where communication comes in between two adults. So I would call it communication instead of emotional intelligence. That's just how I feel about
it. Okay. I would say that men, in general, it's okay to be like with emotion and everything. I would say this: with emotional intelligence, I don't look that much into it, but I understand what it means. Like, if your girl, you say like you're in a relationship and your girl is not saying anything, you could clearly say like, okay, it seems to me that you're upset. And if you know that, now she communicates differently, that's when, what Tony said, that's when the communication has to come through. Mm-hmm. Because if y'all don't communicate, oh, I'm upset or I'm mad, then it's never gonna get solved. So I would not say it's emotional intelligence halfway. I would say what Tony said with the communication, just talk. because we can't read, like with emotional intelligence, that means that you can sense that somebody is always at this time and always mad or always feeling an emotion at this time when it cannot be the case. So I would say that just talk. I would say talk to each other and then communicate as well what Tony said. Hey, I didn't, find that funny or whatever. It could be anything. So with emotional intelligence,
Can I say something? Are we on a round table or can
No,
y'all like interject?
We interject.
Okay, cool. So I hear what you guys saying about communication. That is a person trait. That is an adult trait that everyone should have effectively. But I feel like a lot of times when you're in relationships with people, everyone's an adult when it's time to hold themselves accountable, tell the truth, or communicate. So I got that part. When I'm speaking of more so emotional intelligence, it's about having that balance. It's okay to tell me and to show me that I'm affecting you. I don't want to date no robot. And in order for me to adjust and be the best partner for you, I should be able to read you. And not only that, you should be able to come and speak up when it's a problem. I see a lot of times when I'm in spaces when it's just all men, y'all let that guard down. But when it's like with that woman, I understand you want to be that leader. I understand you want to provide. That's due to social construct. But in order to get the best place and value, when it comes to relationships, you have to peel those layers off. Like everyone's saying that they want to be this alpha guy. Everyone want to say that they want to lead. To be honest with y'all, every man in this room right now, and I ain't trying to throw no jabs, y'all may not be no alpha. Y'all probably think that you are, because that's what life told you have to be. You got sigma, you got beta, you got alpha. And honestly, for a woman of my emotional intelligence, when it comes to relationships, outside at work, I'm alpha. I'm gonna let you know right now, like I am alpha. I am independent. I know how to think for myself. I know how to make decisive decisions. But when it comes to a relationship, I know how to tone it down. I know how to be beta. I know how to submit to my man. But if he can't submit to me and tell me what's wrong with him, then I'm gonna always have that guard up. So that's what I'm saying to you guys. Like, we can have this conversation about communication all day. But what I really want to know is, why is that when you're in spaces of all men, you guys can actually open up and say, hey, this is what my girl did. This is why X, Y, Z. This is what I want out of this person. But when your girl asks you, it's all logic based. But you want her to be that soft and gentle woman. And I don't get that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Are you willing to take a feedback from a man if he's sitting there telling you certain things that he don't? Let's just say if it's percent is strictly towards you. Let's just say let's just say he has a problem with you wearing when you're going out, right? And he tells you, okay, look, I don't feel comfortable with you wearing whatever you're wearing when you're going out.
Okay.
Are we able to receive that?
Are you able to receive that and be like, okay, you know what? He's uncomfortable with it, even though I don't see a problem with it. But since he's uncomfortable with it, let me not do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
absolutely.
You can do that.
Yeah,
now you got a lot of other women that's not okay with it. They feel like it's controlling in a way, or it's like he's trying to tell me what to do. And like, we all agree that even being in a relationship, it's a partnership. So sometimes you have to take certain feedback from each other and understand that, okay, if this person is feeling a certain type of way about something that I'm doing, even though I might not look at it the same way, I still need to, take consideration of how that person may feel. And I feel like a lot of times that's what a lot of conflict between men and women goes with, because sometimes men, we have certain things that we don't like that women do, but we feel like if we express that to you, you'll make a big situation out of, or you'll, like you say, like little dick energy and shit like that, or you'll just like name call certain shit that men don't feel comfortable with. So a lot of times, a lot of men would just like, how can I put it, like sweep it under the rug and just be like, I ain't gonna even say nothing because I don't want to hear her mouth. She's not going, especially if I had other experiences with her, with not taking my feedback.
Okay, so that makes, I think that's a situation. I'm sorry to get it.
No, that was it. No.
I think that's kind of a situation where you're dealing with someone that's not respecting you. So, also what comes with emotional intelligence is boundaries. So when you have those boundaries, your woman wouldn't even dare to speak like that to you. Like, I've dated men before that had that self-awareness and worth so high, I'll be scared to even curse at them, say certain things. So I'm like, oh no, because they got that aura with them. But in the process of you actually having that emotional intelligence, and you're trying to learn that, you're gonna find this little space where you're gonna bend a little. You're gonna get your feelings hurt. You're gonna say and speak on certain things, and then you're going to get disrespected, and you're going to like, dang, how am I supposed to take that? But that's the process of actually tapping in to your femininity side, because you have to let that guard down. But once you start getting those jabs and you start receiving the disrespect, or you start knowing that you're dealing with more so your self-worth, then you know who the fuck you're dealing with. Mm. Because if you are asking of your woman to do certain things and she's giving you pushback, but you're just simply telling her that you're a representation of me, and she's not trying to honor that, then you need to question who you're dealing with. Right. So you shouldn't be scared to speak on how you feel. Exactly. You should be more so scared of what the consequence is going to be, or the rebuttal is going to be, versus basically saying how you feel. Because honestly, you're saying, I'm having an outcry right now. Right. I'm uncomfortable with something, and she's dismissing, or what I'm saying is up for debate. Mm. Now, it could be some situations she'll probably be like, okay, babe, let's have a talk. Let's unpack about this. Are you being a little insecure? And then that's a conversation that you guys can have. But if someone's constantly trying to disrespect you, or bogart what you're saying, or tell you that you have little, energy, that ain't somebody you need to be with, bro. And that's just being honest. A lot of guys, you guys are built on physicality. You guys are aesthetic creatures. So
that's what come with the aesthetic creatures.
The aesthetic creatures, you want a bad bitch, you know what I'm saying?
That's how they be, exactly.
You may need to get you a 6. I mean, I'm just saying that. Like, everybody want to get this full-rounded girl that just looks so pretty, and then, got all this stuff going on, but it's just like, she's disrespectful. Like, she's, you know what I'm saying? She got a smart mouth. And you feel like you wanted to say something. What you got to say?
No, Sean.
Go ahead.
And that's the stuff that comes with it, because that person may have never been told no before, and they may not have that self-awareness, and honestly, no one put her in her fucking place.
Okay.
So that's why I say you can pick and choose once you know your self-worth, but you can't tap into your femininity, and you can't tap into basically saying like, oh, I ain't like how that sound, then you're going to constantly deal with stuff and be putting up with stuff.
Exactly.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay. One thing. You said like
take a 6.
Take a 6.
That's where you going with it. I know.
Go ahead. Here's the thing with take a 6. On that one, to me, it's not true. Okay. Because you said with the 10s and everything, from your logic, you're saying that the 10s and ups, they act like that with the little dick energy and everything. Mm-hmm. Do you? The 6s act like that as well. Okay. To be honest with you, it's on all scales. 1 through 10s, it's on all scales. They act like that as well as 2. So with the 6s and everything, they're the ones, you have women that are 6s in the face to men, and they're the ones that think they're 10s. Yeah, they think that. So then they're like, okay, well, I can treat him like the no good nigga because I think I'm a 10 anyways. Once it gets to her head, there's no coming back. So with that, you might have to settle for a 6. It doesn't matter, because as long as she don't respect you, you right. But how are we supposed to know that? That's the thing. When we taking a chance, when we like go on dates and everything. But right off the bat, we can't look at a girl like from the face. Oh, she a 10 in the face. She's not going to respect me. Oh, she's a 5 in the face. She might respect me. No, she won't. She might disrespect you as well. So you can't. So with the 6 and everything, it goes all ways. Because you got 6s that disrespect men out here. You got 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, and even 2s that disrespect men.
And the reason why they act like that is because by so many men, even with them being like a low ranking to men, they feel like that they're at that rank because they get a lot of men that try to talk to them. So it's like, it's not really, they don't really know how we look at them because we come at them in a sexual manner. Right. You know what I'm saying? So women will sit there and place themselves at a certain, and they'll sit there and act a certain type of way that a bad chick would act and stuff like that.
But that comes from y'all. The man put that in there. We participate in her acting like that.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Let's go back to what we said. What? If I tell you, if you try to talk to me and I tell you, I'm not looking for that, blah, blah, I don't want to do that, I don't want to have sex, I want to get to know somebody. And I tell you from the beginning, you have the option to walk away, right? Or stay. I can tell you that, but because you're a male, you're alpha, you're going to say, yeah, regardless of what she said, if I'm here for this, this is what I'm going to get. So I could be a 3. But if you keep chasing my phone and texting me and calling me down, and I think I'm a 10, whose fault is that?
That's true.
It's on you. That's so true. It goes back to
But you have to.
It goes back to the.
Come some hope here.
You gotta come over here.
Go ahead. What you say,
something.
Sean has something to say.
Well, with the 10s and everything, like what you said, yes, on that part, it is a gospel. The 6s and then boosting her ego up to a 10. But to be honest with me, you gotta humble yourself with that. like with women, they gotta humble themselves with that. They
But
know.
men be out there bogus as hell too.
I got
Man can have a big penis with nothing else, and because it's big,
Right,
he
that's
think
why.
he top dog.
That's
women do the
yeah,
same.
exactly.
Yeah,
You
they
be
do.
like,
That's why I say they
you're
have to
ugly, you're
humble
broke, and all
themselves.
that, and
They
women
have
do
to
the
humble
same
themselves.
thing.